Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I received a couple of questions and was asked to speak on a couple of things. I was kind of asked about my journey and to speak on maintaining your Islam or your deen and your religion in times of difficulty and in a difficult area, whether it's the city, the particular side of the city where you frequent a masjid, or these is the Muslims you used to being around, when there's not many Muslims around and there's no masjid, or when you the only Muslim that's the type of Muslim that you are. So just a little bit about me, and then my area they asked too, like where am I? Right? I'm in Illinois, right? Illinois was the headquarters for some major studio, however you pronounce it, versions of Islam. The Moorish Americans, this was their headquarters. Chicago, but we're going to say Illinois, because although the headquarters was in Chicago, not only do it affect Chicago, it affects the surrounding cities. So Illinois. So the Moorish Americans founding headquarters was in Chicago. The Ahmadiyans, they had a major headquarters and footing in Chicago. The Nation of Islam, right? Headquarters, Chicago. And then also the Wharf Dean community, Chicago. One of the major headquarters are starting, I don't think they referred to it as the headquarters, but one of the major footings of a particular branch of like the Hebrew Israelites came from Chicago. Not the dudes who you see now standing on corners with megaphones and all that. Not them. The ones that they morphed into, the ones who actually went to Israel and got land. Now I'm speaking on them because you see a whole melting pot of all of this belief mixed up in one, because it was ways for people to be black and have some form of religion. So the understandings, now keep in mind, I'm not saying that Wharf Dean was, or the Ahmadiyans was one of them, but they do have some things in their belief system that isn't from Islam. You see what I'm saying? So when they speak on practicing Islam in a difficult place, Illinois is a difficult place to practice Islam. And also, as the foreigners started to come in, Illinois was a major area for what they refer to as the Tablighi Jamaat. So when it came to the foreigners and start to get themselves established, a lot of the Tablighi Jamaats took over a lot of the Wharf Dean masjids. And I'm not knocking the Tablighi Jamaat, but anybody who's honest and speak from honesty, they come with some things that possibly shouldn't be came with. Not to offend them, not saying they not Muslim, not saying they need to be boycotted, but they bring in some particular beliefs that can be debated. We'll put it that way. that can be debated. So it's difficult because in Illinois, this isn't everybody as a whole, and it's getting better now. Going into this is December 31st, so what they refer to as New Year's Eve, going into 2024. In Illinois, this is the type of things that you can be faced with. You can meet a Muslim that'll tell you, I'm a Sunni Muslim. Okay, cool. You're a Sunni Muslim. Alhamdulillah. So when you say you're a Sunni Muslim, that's to distinguish yourself from a Sufi and a Shiite. So you saying I'm Sunni just to say I'm not a Shiite or a Sufi. Or I'm Salafi just so that you will know I'm not a particular type of Sunni or a Shiite or a Sufi. Or are you a Sunni because you follow the Sunnah of the Prophet? The best of them will say, I'm a Sunni because I follow the Sunnah of the Prophet. But then in the same breath, I'll tell you the Hadiths is superstition. So you're a Sunni Muslim. You follow the Sunnah of the Prophet, but Hadiths is superstition. That don't make any sense. So how do you learn to follow the Sunnah of the Prophet? You saying you're a Sunni because you follow the Sunnah of the Prophet. How do you follow the Sunnah of the Prophet? Well, I read the Quran. So, but they don't realize the batil that's in this statement. Like for real, even right now in 2023, going into 2024, you could bump into some Muslims that'll tell you, I am a Sunni Muslim, but Hadith is superstition. Hadith is fake. And stand on it. So, if that's their mindset, and you follow Quran and Sunnah in accordance with the Hadiths and the Tafsirs, you the eyeball. You don't really know Islam. You see what I'm saying? And this isn't a judgment. This isn't a knock. But this is the mindset what you're up against. So they believe, and then so in the same time they'll tell you that this Christianity that's exists today and this Bible that they run around with today, these same individuals would tell you, although Hadith is superstition, right? To them, Hadith is superstition, but this Bible that they run around with and form of Christianity that they practice is from Allah. You see that? This Bible that's been changed, rearranged. You go look at some of the oldest Bibles they ever found. There's 80-something books that started off. Now it's been tore all the way down to 66 books. That's like 20-something books missing. Then you have the Catholics who have 70-something books. But y'all say that Bible that they run around with is a book of Allah. But Hadiths is superstition, and you a Sunni Muslim. So they will do things like celebrate birthdays, you know, say happy birthdays, happy New Year's, Thanksgiving, you know, somebody pass away and look up and say, oh, I know you in heaven watching over me. These Muslims though, right? But because Christians do that, but can they go to their religion in Christianity and show that it should be done? So because Christians do it and they say that this form of Christianity came from Allah and we supposed to accept all of it, then it's also permissible to do those things. Jesus was a prophet. Why can't we celebrate his birthday and do Christmas? Like, this is real talk. But none of that's superstition. Hadiths, authentic hadiths, superstition is made up. But this Bible, this form of Christianity, is from Allah, so we can practice parts of it. Although they can't find none of that in that Bible, this is just what not only Christians do in your country, everybody do it. Even if they don't even believe it's a God, they do Christmas, they do Valentine's Day. So they celebrating these things. Even if they watch stuff like lectures from like Abdul Hakim Quick on the origins of Valentine's Day, on the origins of Christmas, the origins of birthdays, and show how it's filled with paganism, right? Show how it's filled with different type of little devilish hidden meanings that's demonic, like sacrificing virgins and stuff like that, right? They still accept it. And I'm not saying this is things I've been told personally to my face by some of these individuals. This is part of Siratul Mustaqim. But hadiths, authentic sunnah, is superstitious and made up. But these non-Islamic practices, these non-Christianity practices, y'all call that Siratul Mustaqim. So this shows the difficulty. It's difficult here. Then, due to some of these organizations of Islam, so like for instance, Habanis Thoban, when you know the Sirah, and you know like this right here is, these clothes is designed to not really show the ripples in your muscles like a tight t-shirt. You're not gonna really just, you know, some of these t-shirts do like this and the woman could see the ripples in their muscles, and some of these Kaffir clothes, they belly buttons. These come down and it's wide to cover your aura, to where women can't really see a butt print, can't see the private part, the front of you. These is what these clothes was designed for. But if you had this on, certain groups say we don't put that on because that's dressing like an Arab, because they associate Arabs with Islam. No, these clothes is based off of the Sharia. So this is dressing like a Muslim, not an Arab, because they want to put too much cultural things in it. Oh, in Africa, oh, where we came from, they got that from there. But the point is, these clothes is legislated. This stuff is based off of the Sharia. This is why it is big. This is why it is roomy, to not really be revealing your shape. The same with what the sisters have to put on. But they don't know that. So you can be looked down upon because this has been indoctrinated into the people as trying to be like an Arab. Although the Arabs that's usually in their community, they not dressed like this because they want to hide their Islam in America. So they running around in little salmon colored button up shirts and tight slacks and dress socks. You see what I'm saying? So to maintain that, so to even have these type of thoughts to be abundant, it let you know what the education process is like. There is none. There is none. You see what I'm saying? There's no Quran, Sunnah, Ijma, Fiqh, Sharia based educational system. You either gonna listen to a Tabliki that's not educated but memorized the Quran, so he's considered to be a Hafid. Somebody who rose to the rank of an Imam in the Wharf Deen community, where they use a Hadith to belittle the Hadith. There's a saying from the Rasul that a time is going to come where the people are going to say that I said some things, and they say, well, how you know that that's not, how we know it didn't come from you? And they say they word it because of poor English translation due to them trying to justify something, so it's really twisted up. You won't be able to find it in the Quran, or it won't go against the Quran. When you look at the pure translation, it won't go against the Quran. And anybody who knows, who really look in hadiths, show me one hadith that goes against the Quran. But their whole thing is, if you can't find this particular hadith in the Quran, because, and I've even said that to them, how you gonna use a hadith to say that hadiths ain't real? So to maintain a certain level of Islam, you had to focus on you. You know what I'm saying? Education is belittled. And I'm just being real. It's getting a little better, but it's minimal. It's minimal. You know, like, you could sit down and you could have all these Muslims, and this ain't no knock to nobody, this ain't no shot to nobody, because I know certain people who listen to my videos. You could see somebody who say, I'm a Sunni Muslim, but Noble Drew Ali is my prophet. Like, I know a few Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Like, one young brother, he used to work with us, and this was his mindset. And he had an uncle who was who said he was first and foremost, if you talking about a sheik, you tweaking because it's sheikh. But he referred to himself as the Grand Sheik of the Moorish Americans. Now, this was his uncle. So he would say, I'm a Sunni Muslim, but Noble Drew Ali is my prophet, and my uncle is the Grand Sheik. You know what I'm saying? Because people grew up watching the Iron Sheik, a character on a wrestling thing. So instead of saying sheikh, they started saying sheik. So you had these structures, even gang structures, where, I'm not going to name the gang, but in Illinois, we know it's a particular structure where their king became a Moorish American. So he structured the gang like the Moorish Science Temple. So they had muftis, and then they got sheiks instead of sheikhs. So, you know, Now, you know, I ain't gonna get deep into how I know of it, but this young brother, he thought this way, and he played with his Islam, and now dude on his way to the penitentiary for murder, man. Thinking that I'm above the laws of this city, I'm not a this and that. Why you in jail? Hadiths ain't real. Noble Drew Ali, my prophet. How can they lock you up then? How can you be charged for murder and already got 45 years for an attempt murder on a different person, while he's about to get sentenced for another murder? He got 45 years at 85% already and waiting on this one. But he's above the laws of the United States. And I used to try to tell him this, man. Not how I knew. I'm not going to go into those details. I'll just say a little bit. And it's not for the prove nothing, but wallahi, Allah is my witness. I was offered the position to start a temple from people within a temple, an actual charted temple. I know the lessons from the top to bottom, the real, the fake, the dirty version, the penitentiary version. I know the whole hustle. The little cards they selling everybody. I got the template to sell the cards. I didn't do it because I didn't ever believe that Noble Drew Ali was a prophet. I know he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Even with them trying to distort Islam to say, you know. But anyway, but also from them, this say no to mass jizz because they dirty Arabs. That's that dirty Arab religion. So they'll say, I'm a Sunni Muslim. I follow the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, but Noble Drew Ali is my prophet. So they reject, you know, hadith fake, hadith superstition. War of Deen, you know, you can't find this in the Quran. When actually, if you read tafsirs, you can see how the hadith is tied to the Quran. But, so, just to get to my point, because this isn't a bad session. To practice Islam in a difficult time, you have to remain steadfast upon your education. And then you can't let people who not doing anything belittle your process. They may go watch a video and on YouTube or Instagram, and this in all areas now, and you may be sitting with a real teacher. Even the individuals they may watch on YouTube, you might have private classes with that person. You see what I'm saying? But they'll belittle that, and they don't do nothing. So don't let individuals who's not doing anything deter you into doing nothing. You understand? You have to keep moving forward. I knew individuals that started the same time as I did. When I came in the community and we used to have conversations, let's study hadiths, let's get together and do this, let's get together and do this book, let's get together and listen to these lectures. And to this day, ain't nobody even read half a book of hadith. And I done completed whole volumes. Not from a bragging point. I done completed the whole volume of Bukhari. Right? I done completed Lulu wal Marjan, which is all the hadiths that's in both Bukhari and Muslim, with a teacher, right? A teacher of hadith that graduated from the University of Medina. I done did the same thing with Bulugh al-Maram. I've actually taught Bulugh al-Maram, right? I done did half of Sahih Muslim. I'm like a couple of books in Tirmidhi, a couple of books in Abu Dawud, a couple of books in Nasa'i, and a couple of books in Ibn Majah. But imagine had I let my surrounding and my environment stop me from educating myself. I done did the same thing with tafsirs. I'm halfway through Tafsir Ibn Kathir. I'm a couple of books in Tafsir Qurtubi. I'm a couple of books in Tafsir Asadi, and I completed Tafsir Jalalain with a teacher, a qualified teacher of tafsir. So my point is, in a difficult area, you have to stick to your Islam. And individuals who will say in one breath, I'm a Sunni Muslim, but hadith is superstition, you got to be extremely careful, because even if they do say something that's correct, the bulk of what they're going to say to you is going to be incorrect, because they're going to speak from their own desire, how they want to understand Islam. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I'm a Sunni Muslim, but Noble Drew Ali is my prophet. Or still believe Father Muhammad came is Allah in person. Like, you have to be careful, man. So you have to remain steadfast, and you have to educate yourself, man, to the best of your ability, because these individuals in your community that's like that, they're not going to educate you. So don't let them steal your Islam by saying you trying to be like an Arab. This is the Arabs' religion. We got to practice it this way, the black way. Even if the Arabs don't respect you and treat you a certain type of way because you black, or the Indians, or any type of foreigner, you can't let that deter you, especially in this day and time. You can go online. You could go to, regardless if certain Salafis refute or try to refute, for instance, Bilal Phillips' online Islamic University. First and foremost, where's the refutation from a scholar that says you shouldn't learn from it? Now, back in the day when it first started, I could understand certain things because a lot of it was from a fiqh perspective. But once he brought on real scholars to help mold and shape the university to where you can get a bachelor's, you could get a master's, you could get a PhD with the same curriculum as universities overseas, ain't no scholars refuting that. Scholars got on board with him. That's not only him, but you can get online and you can learn these things. You can get online right now and sit overseas with qualified teachers. There's people that's in the University of Medina and University of Mecca that got master's degrees that's going on a PhDs that's qualified to teach certain aspects of sciences from the religion. Minhaj, Aqidah, small books, or they refer to them as treaties. And you can really get educated and get your knowledge tested, as opposed to like, I could just sit here and listen to my favorite personalities, but I'm not doing any homeworks or any tests to get my understanding checked. That's not what they want from me. That's not what everybody want for themselves. You have to want that for yourself. Your Jannah is in your hands, and that's something I said a long time ago. I'm not going to put my Jannah in the hands of anybody else. I don't walk through it all. I was raised to be a Christian, but many different types. You know, you got a grandmother who's, some say apostolic. I done heard apostolic, different names. Then you got another grandmother, because when you got your grandparents, your mother and your father both have a mom. So you have one that believe this way, then another one who may be Methodist, another one that's Baptist. Your grandfather may be Southern Baptist. So you have all these different denominations. And they all didn't agree the same. Aunties, that's this. An uncle, that's that. A grandmother, that's this. A grandfather, that. Your parent, this. You know what I'm saying? All of them could live in the same city and all go to a different church. Different denomination, but all using the exact same Bible. So I walked through that. I accepted Islam when I was 13. I went, started fooling with the Moorish Americans, learned the whole little thing, studied the whole thing. I got what was referred to as a 360. Right? A full 360 where kind of like how the 5%ers do it, where you get a section of knowledge and just like your feds, the right part around your head, that's 120 degrees of knowledge. The middle, another 120. Then the top, 120, 360 degrees of knowledge. So your lessons is structured the same way. I became a 5%er. Same thing. 120. Some would say 122, 40, 360. You see what I'm saying? So I learned all of that. But I became Muslim first. And then, of course, the trickery, the way people use Islam to trick people. So I done been through all the trick knowledge. I know what Islam is. You have to know what Islam is, and you can't let people that's not doing anything trick you into being somebody that's not doing anything. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you practice Islam in a difficult place. Even if, and there's hadith that say, you know, it might get to the point where you're the only one. But that's going to let you know who your Islam is for. Is you deening for Allah and yourself to get to Jannah? Or is you deening for the eyes of the people? Once the people stop looking, I'm not Muslim anymore. Once the people not looking, I'm not picking my books up anymore. You know what I'm saying? Once the people not looking, I'm not memorizing Quran anymore. You see what I'm saying? You have to be careful, man. And you got to really know what you want and what's best for you. And you have to stick with that. Like, because this deen isn't nothing to play with. And you have to be keen and pay attention to the people that's talking around you, because like I said, you can have Muslims right now, like, this isn't from a judgment point, and I'm not knocking them, and I'm not perfect, but there's a lot of Muslims around here I'm talking about in Illinois in general. It's more boyfriend and girlfriend Muslim couples than married properly Muslim couples. Yeah. Now I'm going to say in the African American community. Okay? You have more couples that's boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, we go together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all type of different sayings. I've been with my girlfriend for 10 years. So therefore, we married due to common law. Man, just go get it. Just go get an imam and get married, B. Just go get an imam and get married. Especially when an Islamic ceremony, it don't even have to take 5 minutes. You see what I'm saying? But on top of that, I know we could be with non-Muslim women, but they girlfriends believe Jesus is God, have Christmas trees in the house. Like, It's difficult, man. But I'm gonna try to continue on, but I just had to pause it, man. I gotta stop it, man, because I'm trying to do this without this turning into something else. So it's difficult to have this because, like I said, I'm trying not to be offensive. I'm not trying to elevate myself above anybody. I'm not trying to have any problems with anybody. I'm not trying to belittle anybody. But even for certain people in their areas, man, and you faced with these same type of adversities, you got to stick to your deen for you, man. Because, trust me, people that's not doing anything will belittle people that's doing something. You see what I'm saying? Let's give it an analogy. You standing on one corner. It's 6 blocks. You in the middle of the block. You in the middle. So you in the middle on 3. So it's 3 blocks this way in front of you, 3 blocks and behind you. The goal is to get to the end of the blocks that's in front of you. Now imagine you meeting somebody at this pathway, and their plan is not only to walk backwards, like to go the other direction, the wrong direction, to walk backwards while they do it. So I'm finna walk backwards for these 3 blocks that's behind me and convince myself that I'm walking forward. You gonna walk backwards with them? You gonna go right back to that point just to hopefully get your head together after walking backwards 1 block and say, hold on, let me move forward. The goal is to get to the other end. Not to keep standing right here, not to get stuck right here. You got to keep moving forward, man, and you got to seek knowledge to do it. You got to get in them books, man. You got to get in them books. You got to do something, man. All this, you know what I'm saying? If a person mind said, because these is things I heard and these things that I've been told, you ain't got to do all that to be a good Muslim. All right, cool. That's you. I want to do these things because I love it. Don't tell me not to do it. I'm not telling you what not to do. I'm letting you be you. Don't tear me down. Because when you're around other people, you pretending to do what I'm doing. So don't let people fool you, man, and trick you up off of this path, man, because they have a lot of deficiencies in what they got going on. Stick to what's firm and correct, Quran and Sunnah. Some of the best ways to get Quran and Sunnah is tafsirs and hadiths. Tafsirs, hadiths. And then matters that's in between, you go to ijma. And that's when you start looking to some of the sayings of the companions, some of the sayings from people who was in that generation, and then you look at the scholars on some of those issues that's in between, if it's not clear in a hadith or if it's not clear in the Quran ayat where it's explained in the tafsirs. Then you start to look towards those areas. You see what I'm saying? Learn you some Arabic. You just got to do your thing, man, regardless to what anybody else is doing. But it's time for Dhur, so let me go and do what I got to do, man. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.